Sup guys, Derek from moreplatesmoredates.com. Today we're going to be covering a highly requested topic. There are a lot of, like subtopics within this topic that I've been asked to cover, but those will get covered in the future, and just for now, this is the one we're going to be covering today. So the purpose of TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and why the dose that one guy takes might not be applicable for you. So I get asked constantly, Derek, what's your TRT regimen? Like, exactly what do you do? What type of ester do you use? When do you pin it? What is your protocol? Blah, 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 blah. And, I can see why, wanting to know what somebody else does is going to be enlightening for trying to figure out what kind of approach you might want to take, with your own replacement therapy moving forward. But what you need to understand is the purpose of TRT is what you want to do is if you have suboptimal, testosterone levels naturally, what you want to ideally achieve with TRT, in my opinion, is achieving a high end of the normal, range of testosterone. So through the exogenous administration of this, synthetic testosterone, you're trying to achieve levels equivalent to that of, somebody who's extremely genetically gifted in the testosterone department. So you want to achieve at the very high end of normal. So you're not, in the super physiological range where you're like essentially walking around on cycle all the time, but you want to be at the high end of normal to maximize, your quality of life, your physiological functions, muscle building potential, all that good stuff. And what you need to understand about this is if you have, one guy has, hypothetically, let's just say one guy is, he needs, 150 milligrams to achieve high normal levels. And let's just hypothetically say that guy is me. Now, does that mean if you take 150 milligrams per week, that's going to put you at the exact same, total testosterone serum level as me? No, it's not, because your body is going to utilize that exogenous test differently once it's processed everything. You're not going to get the exact same blood reading as I am once everything's said and done. So what you need to understand is to achieve this, like high normal level, which I think is, the ideal place to shoot for in regards to TRT, is you might need more or less than some other guy to achieve high normal levels. So I know some guys who need, 250 milligrams to achieve high normal, which is like a pretty high dosage. That's like would put a lot of guys into the super physiological range. And then there's other guys who only need like 70 to 100 milligrams or less. Like I know, I think it was Dave Palumbo talks about when he was on TRT, he'd use like 80 milligrams or something, and it would put his levels like at like 1200 plus or something like that. And he was like he was getting like to the levels that somebody on cycle or super physiological levels would be on only like 100 milligrams a test or something like that. Whereas another guy might need 200 to achieve just, the borderline high normal levels. So at the end of the day, it's how your body, it's the exact same as any other drug. Let's just say hypothetically you have a headache. It takes you might need one pill of Tylenol to get rid of your headache, whereas another guy, he might need 2 pills to get rid of his headache, and one isn't sufficient. That's how you should. These are all drugs at the end of the day, and the way you look at how they're going to affect your individual body chemistry is the exact same. So if one particular arbitrary number doesn't mean that one guy uses, it doesn't mean that's going to be the exact number that you need to achieve the exact same level of maximization of quality of life. So keep that in mind when you are embarking on TRT and consulting with your endocrinologist and whatnot, and looking at your own blood work and trying to figure out what's best for you. Because just because Joe Blow says he uses like 200 milligrams a test for his TRT, that doesn't mean that's what you need. So keep that in mind. Same goes for estrogen levels. If you're on TRT and you don't aromatize estrogen at like a high level or anything like that, you might have in-range estrogen on 200 milligrams a test, whereas another guy, he might need you know, Aromacin or Arimidex to keep his estrogen in range on 200 milligrams of test, because that's just what his natural, you know, genetic propensity is to aromatize a ton of estrogen. You might not be. So you have to keep that in mind, because a lot of guys don't get this. They think that, okay, well, like, this is the optimal amount of milligrams of testosterone, and this is how much Arimidex you need to combat the estrogen side effects from that amount of test. And that's not how it works. So individual blood work, you need to know how exactly what it is. You need to know how to read it and perceive it, and not have some general physician relay to you if it's optimal or not, or compare and contrast it to another guy who has completely different genetics than you do. So anyways, hope that was informative. More videos on TRT in the future. And thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplatesmoredates.com. Subscribe there. Talk to you guys soon.